It's crazy how, we always talk about teams that finish hot or are important to see, but this is it, right? Like, that's the story of 2021. The longest regular season we've ever seen might actually play out with who finishes hot based on whatever their best start. Whoever started best needs to finish hot because it doesn't matter how you started. Is that basically what we're saying here?
That's how I see it, and maybe it's more because it looks like every team is flawed, and so when your team is flawed, meaning that you have ways in which you can lose, or you're not going to win every game, as we've seen. I mean, every top 5 seeds in the NFC all have lost over the last 2 weeks. So when that's the case, I think it's kind of now going, okay, since we have flaws, we've got to get the right matchups. We got to, play good at the right moment, as opposed to thinking we're going to fix all of our issues over the next 7 weeks and just be a great football team across the board.
Kurt Warner here on the Rich Eisen Show, fresh off of calling the Monday Night Football Niners win. And then you've got teams that could be 4-5, 5-4, or 6-4 that are in the midst of great runs that can't be stopped. So I want to just start that with the San Francisco 49ers first. And I mean, that was it. That's the performance we're waiting to see from last night, Kurt. That's it right there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, this is a team that I think most people thought we would see all year long. The pieces were there. They were healthy again. They had a chance to be that kind of team. And you're right. I mean, I didn't see many flaws. They ran the football as you expected. Jimmy G played as well as he can play. Defense played huge, even though I'd like to see a little bit more from their front four, earlier in the game, but thought they played really well in the secondary. And you looked at that team and you go, well, that team could beat anybody in the league. And, it's hard to believe that, we've seen them kind of sputter through the year, and they're really just one game back from that 7th playoff spot. So there is so much football to be played right now that, teams that we put a fork in the other week on game day morning.
Yes.
I don't know if you can put a fork in anybody really, or maybe just a few teams, because, Minnesota, they win a couple games. They're in the – I mean, it's just – you just look around the league, and I just think there's going to be a lot of movements within divisions and within conferences over the rest of the season.
How about Cam with the Panthers? You can already see the Panthers have some sort of new wind at their back that they didn't think was possible this year. You could just see that, feel it. Yeah, the fans are traveling to Arizona. They went nuts. They're going nuts when Cam's just driving around town. Like you could feel that, and they're 5-5.
Exactly, and the thing is, they've got a really good defense. I think their defense, or they lost some games here because their offense was sputtering and turning the football over and putting their defense in bad spots. And so now I look at this team with Christian McCaffrey and Cam, and again, nobody really knows what Cam's going to be on the whole, based off of what we've seen the last couple of years through the injuries and in New England and all that. But I know he can still be a part of a quality run game, and he can give you an advantage there. And so I look at this Carolina team and say, if they can develop, a run game similar to what New England did last year with the weapons they have on the outside, if Cam can be solid throwing the football without turning the football over, I do think this could be a team that pushes for the playoffs and could be a dangerous team because they're solid on both sides when they're not turning the football over. And we saw that early in the year. So I do think the energy of Cam, the dynamic play of Cam in certain situations can make this a really interesting team, moving forward. And as you said, I mean, Tampa, after, losing a couple in the last 3, I mean, they're by no means running away with this division where somebody couldn't challenge them.
And they've got their last 2 of their last 3 games for both teams. It's the home and home Bucks and Panthers. Those are the last 3 weeks. It's a home and home for both of those teams. It's going to be wild. I mean, that could come down to the last 3 weeks of the season. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.